Okay, so if you've watched my previous video on TTYSH, showing you how to install it, how to set it up on a clean Arch install or an Artix install, you're kind of good to go for these next sections, okay? If you are not in that situation and you want to use TTYSH, look in the description. You'll be able to find the links to the previous video and the old video of setting up an Arch install if you want some help with that. Okay, so this is your TTY. Obviously, you've logged in. So as we've done before, we're just going to go into the folder for TTYSH. I will in the near future show you how you can have TTYSH as a, let's say, a quote unquote binary or in your user path so that you can just use TTYSH like any other command. But we're just going to do it the classic way at the moment. Okay, so classic way is // and then TTYSH.sh. Okay, and then it's just going to load up. Q to continue. Okay, so again, assuming you've gone through the previous videos or video and you've done the config, your TTYSH will look something like this, and maybe you've already started playing around with it. So what I'm going to look at first is on the effectively the start screen where it gives you the number of selections, the schedule, the selection tool, help tool, a config wizard if you want to do the config again, and Q for quit, where you can do the schedule tool. If you're wondering why the schedule tool is on like the start screen, the schedule tool is there because personally, I like to see my schedule for the day. For example, I like to see various bits of information. And this way, it's one of the first things you might do when you boot up your computer. It loads TTYSH or schedule, whatever. Okay, so type SC. So whenever you see brackets, the letters in between those brackets or numbers or alphanumeric in those brackets means that's what you need to enter to do that, let's say, selection. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. And so the first thing it does is it gives you your calendar. Okay, so it gives the calendar, and of course it's the 8th today on this date I'm recording. It gives you the time at the top as well. And so this is the first time I've run the schedule command or started the scheduler. And so what it's actually asking is setting up your calendar data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a start date, and it probably makes sense to set a kind of start date in the recent times, because the whole point of the calendar is so you populate it with your events coming up like you would do, say, with Google Calendar. Okay, so you need to set a range. Now, this could be done automatically, but we'll just set up a range. Okay, so let's do, so we know it's 2025. We are in the 10th month, so I'm just going to do 01. Actually, I'm going to do 10 for October, and I'm going to do -01 as well. So you need to do it in this format, and then we're going to set the end date. So I would suggest putting this into the future. So let's just do 2030 maybe, and then we'll do it to the end of the year. Let's do 30. Okay, 12. We'll just do 12. That's fine. And hit enter. So it's going to start setting that up. We'll let it do it, take some moments. Obviously, you won't have to go through this every time. This is just the first time. It's taking some moments. And there we go. So it's made the calendar. So, and it says you can fill in your calendar at the home testing / whatever, and run this run this selection again or continue. Okay, so all we're going to do is it's running less at the moment, so we're going to hit Q to come out of that. And it does give you the option to edit your calendar. So if we type Y, as you can see, we've got calendar in Vim. So obviously you need to know Vim really, but I've got videos on that, so you're lucky. So we know where we are. We're at what, the 8th today. So I'm just going to put some things for tomorrow. So I'm going to put do a stream. Okay. And then let's say on the 11th, meets up with friends. Okay. And then maybe let's go on, no, let's actually go on the 14th. Let's put sort out my clothes. I don't know, you put whatever you want for your schedule. I'm going to hit escape and I'm going to right quit out of Vim. Okay, now if you look, it's now piped that well, that text is now showing up in less. So as you look at the dates, it's showing my schedule. Okay, so if I hit Q and I hit N, I don't need to edit that. That's fine. That's populated, and I can see some events. Okay, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Now, here's coming up is my notes. Okay, so I haven't got anything in the notes at the moment. You just see notes at the end there. So it does then give you the option once you hit Q, because again, this is all paged into less. Use Q to end the pager. And the reason I have less as a pager is because you might have a whole lot of information populated in your calendar or your notes, and therefore you can page through it. Okay, so I am going to edit the notes, and I'm going to put do some research on Linux videos. Okay, and then maybe walk the dog, and what else? Feed the cat, book the holiday. Okay, so I'm going to save that. So that's my notes, and as again you can see, it's putting the notes into less. Okay, so it's in the less command, so I can Q to come out of that. And again, it gives me the option, do you want to edit? Okay, I'm going to go no, so it's now going to the next thing. Now, do you want to update the weather data? So I'm going to put yes, I'm going to put London. Okay, so obviously wherever you are, you can just put in your location. And as you can see, that's going to be the weather forecast for the next few days, including today for London. Okay. And then do you want to run the RSS reader? Why not? Now I have a function where it splits the screen with a shell. I'm not sure how useful that is. Sometimes I have programs open like Newsboat, the RSS reader, and sometimes I want, say, another shell split screen so I can do some work. Not do some work, but maybe do something else. I don't know. It's something I do occasionally, but I'm going to hit no. Okay. So it's configured. Newsboat. Might be an issue with that. I might have to look at that in a minute. Let's run it again. Hit no. Okay, yeah, it's fine. So the first time it runs, it's just setting it up. Maybe I'll look at that, but it works. Okay, I've just shown you. So obviously I've got my YouTube channel in here. So if you hit enter, contains no feed. So if I do Shift R and then go into it, it's updated it. Do Shift R again, so you can see all of my videos. Now, when you have TTYSH, that is there automatically, so you can have a feed of my RSS for my YouTube videos. Okay, I'm going to hit Q, come out of that, Q again to quit. Do you want to run it again? N for no, and then it goes just straight to the selector. Okay, so if I type TTYSH, it's been a bit funny there. I don't know why, but I'm just going to go back into TTYSH, hit Q, brings up the selector again. Okay, it does work. I just noticed when you first set up some things, it's a bit funny. I don't know why, but that's fine. So we know TTY does work. and that just refreshes the TTYSH program, clears the screen. Okay, but now if I go back into schedule from the start screen, and I look at my schedule again, so 8th of October, etc. As you know, this time my calendar schedule for today now just shows up. Okay, and as you can see, it's paged into less. So if you've got a lot of information, you can just page through this. And what it tries to do is, as like a lot of schedulers, it shows you like 10 days before or 10 days after. So this is really a range of dates in the near future. Of course, if you need to go into the file, you can go into the file. It does give you that instruction at the beginning when you first set it up where that file is, and you can edit. Or if I hit Q, you can edit the file from there. Okay, so again, I can put changed my mind, don't sort clothes on this date, and I escape that, right quit that. As you can see, it's updated that, and that information is now shown in my schedule. If I hit Q, and obviously I don't need to update it again. Okay, and then as you can see, it's now showing my notes. So do some research on Linux videos, walk the dog, feed the cat, book the holiday, hit Q. Again, I can update this. I'm going to take out that because I don't want to go on holiday now. I don't want to feed the cat. Don't report me. And then right quit. And now obviously I've just got that latest information. Okay. If you look where it's paged into LS, it also tells you where that document is at the bottom there. So I'm going to hit Q. I'm going to hit no. Now, interestingly, with the weather file, I don't actually have to update it. So I've just obviously run this effectively as function, and it's given me the weather. Okay, so if you press no, it will output the last time you ran the command, basically. So all this information is stored in a file in the previous time I ran the command. So say for 2 days from now, if that's the next time you come to look at your scheduler or the weather on TTYSH and you press no, it will show you that output from 2 days ago because you've chose not to update it. So it's an option. Okay, so you're probably going to want to update it, but the reason I have that is because you have no obligation to do this. Okay, so if you don't want to update the weather because it connects to the internet or whatever, maybe WTTR, whatever it is, .sh or whatever it is, never remember. WTTR.in is playing up, or you don't want to connect to it. That's stored locally. Okay, and then again we come to the RSS reader. I'm going to hit no this time, and then again we come to this. If I hit TTY, it's working fine again. I don't know why it did it that one time. Been a bit funny. So there you go. That's you know, how to have a schedule on TTYSH. The first time you run it, you're going to want to set it up. That shows you how to set it up. Not too difficult. Just remember, give yourself a nice range of dates for your calendar schedule because you're going to want to update it, right? As you use it months in, months out, years later, you don't want to suddenly run out of a calendar. Maybe I could set a default on that. Maybe that's something to look at. You can always put it on GitHub on the issues if that's something you would like. But that's pretty much it for that one today. So in the coming days, I'm going to be looking at some more of these functions. There's plenty in there. Obviously, play around with it yourself, but I'm going to be covering some more stuff in the near future. So anyway, I hope that helped. See you later.